All right, VFam, I'm back again, Mr. Messer, and I have a very, very special guest, just a real flagship member of the VFam community. I'm here with Pat, aka Patron, the crypto ape. Pat, how you doing, brother?
Great, bro. Life is really good right now. I'm excited to be
I
here.
love it. So excited that you're here. You know, I think one of the first spaces VeeFriends related I was ever in was yours. Um, so I can't wait to get into all that good stuff about how that came about. But first, let's take a step back. Could you just give us kind of like a 55-second clip notes on a little bit about yourself pre NFTs?
Pre-NFTs. So before I got into NFTs, I was into stocks. So I dealt with stocks mainly. And then when COVID happened, my brother kind of put me onto the crypto scene. But before all that, I was doing art, doing artwork. I went to school for art, drawing. So I did painting, drawing, and that was my passion. So it
Interesting.
was a mix of art with stocks, with the entrepreneurial thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, of
a
course.
little bit of this, a little bit of that, and yeah. So it was mostly focused on art before art and stocks, and then it became full time crypto Deegan.
I love that. So were you investing in stocks or did you like just research and like were educating? What what
You know,
what
I
kind of role did you take? You just
honestly,
dabbled in it
I
all.
didn't I didn't know too much. My brother was the one who really put me on, my older brother. Now, this was when COVID first hit. He was like, the market's going down. You know what I mean? This is the time to buy. So I was like, all right. I was like, all right, put me on. So she's like, all right, look at this. And, that's when I first learned how to buy low. You know what I mean? Like these are good times to buy and get into the market. People see this as like, this bear market as, you know, panic, and people are like, oh, this
Sure.
isn't good. But these are the times you want to get into the market and invest. So he put me on, and he was like, yo, so this is, look at this, and then he's like, now look at Dogecoin. So I was like, all right, Dogecoin. So I got into Dogecoin. We got into it, was in like 9 cents, and we wound up selling it at 54 cents, something like that. So we
Yeah.
saw, after that opportunity, I was like, holy shit, I think we have something here, like, so
You were pumped.
pumped,
Yeah.
bro. So we were on Robinhood. That was the app we were on. So you only had an option of Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. So it was like four things you could choose from, right? So I was like, all right,
Hmm.
um, looks like Ethereum and Bitcoin is next, right? So got into Ethereum after that, and then I was like, all right, this is I like this crypto thing. Let's see where it goes then. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Fantastic. So somewhere along those lines, you hear about NFTs. Is that through Gary or do you hear about NFTs from somewhere
No,
else?
as I was doing my research, because I do research in everything I do, not just crypto,
I
anything.
can tell.
So I I heard about NFTs before, but I didn't give it the chance. I didn't really. I thought it was too much in the beginning. You know what I mean? Because I was like, all right, you got to get this wallet, and then you got to, you know what I mean? Like it was too.
A lot of friction, a
Correct.
lot of
In the
steps.
in
Yeah.
the beginning, when someone was trying to explain it to me, I was like, no, I'm good. It sounds like too much for me right now. So I was like, let me just stick to what I'm doing, because it's I was making good money doing that. I didn't want to switch into something new, or as I just started something new. And so I did hear about the NFTs, but I didn't get into it. It was too much for me at the time. And
Gotcha. So
I wound up
you
getting
would.
into like a random project at the end of the year, and that's when I started to hear more of other projects, and I first learned of community. But I wound up getting into a random project, just watching YouTube. You know, I was watching Wojak videos and I saw um
I lost you. Oh, all good.
sorry, I
So
got a video call. Sorry about that.
it's all good. So when you say end of the year, you got into a project. Are we talking 2020 or 2021?
20 this was 2020 that I got into a project.
Gotcha.
Last year.
So are
This is last year is when I first got into the like any NFT project, which was around November. And that was around the time when like the 12 and a half book came out. Gary's 12 and a half. So
yeah.
around that time I got into an NFT project, and that's when I first heard of Gary's NFT project. But I first heard of Gary through my brother. You know, it wasn't through, all right, you know, let me check out his NFT project. My brother was the one who actually put me onto Gary's stuff, his videos. He was like, you got to check this guy out. He's very motivational. So as I'm listening to his stuff, I'm looking at his material. I'm like, yo, this guy's fucking amazing. I love this guy. So I was like, I gotta see more what this guy's about. So as I'm doing the research, I'm like, all right, entrepreneur into crypto, has his own NFT project. I was like, you know what? This might be a, you know, a good thing to look at. So at the end of the year, this was December now. Um, book games had just came out, and I had missed the book games opportunity. That was early on in the year. I missed book games
That was
opportunity.
in August.
Correct.
Yeah.
So at this
Yep.
time, it's at the end of the year, and I'm like, all right. So what I'm they're talking about BF2 and how he's starting to do, you know, version two of his BF1 project. So I was like, all right, that's my opportunity. So I started to save up more Ethereum from that time on. From December on, I was just saving Ethereum. I wasn't buying anything. I was just working and stacking
Mm.
Ethereum, working, stacking Ethereum. Um, but I really got heavy into community and NFTs and Discords and Gary last year. Um, heavy at the end of the year.
Was there a moment that, and we'll get into the spaces, we'll get into late night chat in a second. Was there a moment that you remember that you were like, I want to be a bigger part of this, or like this is kind of how I see this is my path into a bigger part of this community? Like, because you said you started getting into community and you did it in a big way by starting this space. I'm just curious if there was a moment, if you did it consciously or it just kind of suddenly happened
Yeah,
over time.
it wasn't. I didn't plan on it. I really I really dig the community part. You know what I mean? Like I love that aspect of NFT and the space. You know what I mean? Like so it wasn't planned. I just wanted to have um a space where people can come and talk about NFTs and talk about VeeFriends, you know. At the time it was at night when I was around. So I was like, I know I'm not the only one that wants to talk about NFTs and you know,
Right.
stuff like this at night. You know what I mean? So I saw that people were big on Twitter, and Twitter was, you know, the thing to do. So I was like, okay, let me start a Twitter space. And I started a Twitter space. It was just a few of us, few V friends. I was like, I literally said V friends. Let's talk about V friends in you know, in the chat. It was Veefriends Late Night.
And when is this? What month?
This is probably early in the beginning of this year.
Okay.
I
Post book games. That early January
I correct.
drop.
Correct. So
Okay.
we I know we did it for at least a few months, at least 2 months we did it prior to VeeCon, you know, a month prior to VeeCon at least. Um, but it was spontaneous. I didn't plan it. We just we had a few people in there at one point, and then uh, one night Kevin Rose came in, and then next thing you know, there's over 1,000 people in the space, and I'm like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like this is wild. This is wasn't planned for. It just took off to something that, was something bigger than I could have expected it to be.
I didn't hear about that. Could you let's put the microscope under that
Yeah,
show?
it's
The Kevin Rose
so
was.
we were.
What was the
It
context?
was the day or the day after Moonbirds just released,
Okay.
and we were chatting about VeeFriends. We were just bullshitting like we normally were at 2 in the morning, and and then Kevin Rose popped. We started talking about the owls because it was everyone was talking about it, So he comes in and sounds like Kevin Rose is in the space, and he was like, invite him up. So I was like, holy shit! So we invited him up, and as soon as he came into the room, then you saw the counter started going up to like it
Exploded,
went
I
up to
bet.
100, then 200, then 500, then like over 1,000 at one point. And it's like crazy, bro. You know what I mean? Like you don't expect that. It's like it's not something you prepare for. You know what I mean? Like so, like
Oh,
but
I
but
can't.
look,
How do
but bro,
you? Yeah.
listen, he was really cool. Like it was chill. Like we talked, we chopped it up. He spoke about his project. Like it was awesome. You know what I mean? Like it was awesome. Crazy experience.
Did he do any Q&A, or he just kind of talked about his
Yes, he
project?
had some people asked him some questions and he answered and he dropped some alpha in there. It was pretty cool. He's a
That's
He's a
awesome.
really cool guy. He was like, "Yo, come meet me at VeeCon. Like, I want to hang out with you guys." And he wound up not going to VeeCon. He just
Right,
whatever
right.
happened, but he didn't go to VeeCon. But he was such a cool dude, and he was like, "Yo, come up to me at VeeCon, say hello." And but yeah, so he came in, and it's just like then there's this all of a sudden so many people in there, and then when he left, there's still 100 people in the room. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh my God, it's like so I'm just literally talking about VeeFriends and like if you guys want to hang out and stay, you're more than welcome to. We just talk about NFTs and mostly VeeFriends, but then from that night on, it was just like a lot of people who were always in the room at that point.
Totally. I mean, on June 6th, you tweeted out, 1,158 tuned in, 999 live listeners. Like you're doing real numbers, and unfortunately, I are you a West
East
Coast?
Coast,
Oh,
yeah,
you're East Coast. Oh, so you're really in it late. Like you're really
yeah,
degenning if because you're starting at
midnight.
midnight. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, I that's kind of like just tough hours for me to still be on Twitter
Oh,
Spaces when I
bro,
have it
trust
going
me,
all the
it's a
time with
lot.
the family
I
and the
know,
young
even
one.
for me, it's a lot.
Uh, I've had enough context where I know it's a very inviting space. People are very welcome to come up. And for people that may not know, are you still going every night? It's midnight
Not
every
every
night.
night. So prior to the movie, when I dropped VCon the movie, I was doing it every single night. And once I got to working on the movie, it got to the point where I physically could not do it every night. Like I was working on this movie till like 3 in the morning sometimes. Like, so I'm not doing it every night. I want to transition from every night to a few nights a week and then start doing more content like on YouTube, because
Gotcha.
as much as I would love to do it every single night, it's physically impossible to stay healthy and put out the content I want to put out and like do what I have to do in real life and everything else and do it every single night. You know what I mean? Like it's
Of
it's
course, yeah. It's an
it's a
undertaking.
lot. Yeah, it's definitely a lot and everyone needs a break from social media every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like being on there 24/7 is not healthy. You know what I mean? Like
Of course, you gotta detox.
100%.
Especially like I feel that this space is just it kind of sucks you in more because there's so many I guess rabbit holes I want to say because you need you there's overall Web3 stuff happening. Then there's particular
Yeah,
project
bro,
things and
it's
drops, and then there's
yeah,
security, and then like the stress of you could click on one thing and then lose everything in an instant. So there's just a lot to it, and there's a lot to know, and it's always changing. But from a community standpoint, it's really it's great that you have such a consistent offering for people to come, because there are in this VeeFriends community quite a few offerings now, but everyone has a different flavor and everyone's got different schedules. So it's nice to have that. I even saw, I can't remember who put it out, but someone put out a calendar of all the spaces, and you were on there like every day for people to count on. So before we move on, because I definitely want to talk about the movie and some other things, what's I know you posted a lot of topics where you talk about real world practical things like wallet security and what to look for when you're buying a project for safety things, and you have fun things like freestyles. And I think was it Shiv that someone bought a CryptoPunk live on the
Yeah.
space. So any it's live spaces, anything can happen. But if you can give just like a 20-second elevator pitch for what your space offers, what would that be?
So the space is called VeeFriends Late Night, the VeeFriends Late Night Chat, and basically I wanted to offer a space for people to come late night to talk about NFTs, to talk about life in general, to talk about VeeFriends, to talk about whatever they want to. And like you said, anything can happen. I record every single space, and one night Kevin Rose came in, Shiv bought a hundred
Yeah.
thousand dollar and PFP one night, you know what I mean? And then the guy he bought it from came into the space, and like they made a deal, like it was crazy. Like it's like it brings so many people together. And I really encourage people to just hop in Twitter spaces and network with people, network with the community, network with your V friends, and just have fun.
That doesn't get said enough. And I know there's a lot of people, and Gary actually mentioned this a lot going into VeeCon, and even at VeeCon, where there's a lot of introverted people that really have big aspirations. It's just, taking that next step to say hello, or, in the context of what we're talking about, raising their hand and asking a question, or going on stage, or even starting their own space. So what kind of practical tip or piece of advice would you offer to someone that's thinking about, because we have a lot of people trying to, break into Web3, landing a job? What would you say to them to encourage them to start their own space?
Be consistent and keep putting out content. It's the V Friends Late Night Chat started out with three people sitting at night talking, degenning late at night. Like, four people just sitting there talking about NFTs and bullshitting and having fun. And then it just, you know, just be consistent. Keep putting out content. People are gonna notice, and they will see.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come, as they said from Field of Dreams. So speaking of content, let's talk about the movie. So you put out a 1 hour VeeCon the movie, uh, polished, edited, and I got to take a look
Bro,
at
thank you
most of
so
it.
much. That means a lot.
Yeah, truth be told, the back end your interview, I'll definitely check that part out, but I paused because I didn't want any spoiler. I wanted it to be fresh and authentic for this talk, because I had a sense that I don't know who was interviewing you, but he was going to be asking you a lot of the same questions that I'm trying to. So I wanted it to be totally authentic. So I paused there. But yeah, what inspired you to do that? Because that is one, it's a long event. There's so much going on, and you're documenting all of it. But then to go back and edit it and do the music overlays and the transition, like it's a lot. So what inspired you to take on that project?
Prior to going to dude, I didn't even know I was going to VCon till like 2.5 weeks prior to VCon. So I wanted to I wanted to show people. Well, first of all, I needed to document this. Like, this was the first ever VCon, right? The first NFT ticketed event, if you will. You needed an NFT to get into this event, right?
Hmm.
And I just one, wanted to document it for myself. Two, I wanted to show people who didn't have a chance to go what it was about, and just to show them what happened. What,
I
and
love that.
I had no intentions of making a movie. I wanted to wear glasses that recorded when I was out there. And when I found out the Ray-Bans that I wanted, they were like, you can only do 30-second clips. So I was like, that's kind of going to be a lot for me to do. So I was like, I'll just record it, and I'll figure it out later. So afterwards, I was like, after I lived it, I was like, yo, VeeCon was a movie. It was amazing. Like, let me just put everything I have together into one, movie, and just put it out there for people. The, at first I was just gonna just put the clips together and then, put the content out, but like, I kind of wanted to make it fun, so I turned it into, VeeCon the movie, and I added, the clip from the very beginning is the clip when, so it's Kevin Rose podcast, right? Proof podcast.
Yep.
He talks to Gary one about coming into the space that night. So I got that clip is the very beginning of VeeCon the movie. So I put that in the beginning, and then there's an interview of me in the end tying together like everything, and yeah, I just wanted to make it fun. I wanted to just show people what it was about, and how, just how much fun it was.
Totally. And you have yourself coming. Was that your Airbnb that you're showing up in it, where you're
Yes,
staying?
bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's super
Yeah,
fun to look back on. And even if you weren't, for anyone, like in 9 years, and maybe there's VCons going on in 9 years, and maybe there's not, whatever the case, like that was number one.
dude, we had so much fun, and so we
That,
we 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 met each other through the Twitter space, and then through we started a Discord where we can communicate a little, um you know privately. But yeah, we met each other through the Twitter spaces and networking, and wound up getting Airbnb at Minneapolis together, the VCon.
fascinating. Like your old
Yeah,
friends. Um, because it's a very fascinating time. Um, it was really, he hit the nail on the head, Gary. I don't know if you caught this, but when he said it, he thought of it as camp. Like people were gonna, really meet each other, create really solid friendships, and it's just gonna be like a countdown to the reunion the next year.
oh yeah,
And that's like people are already talking about
yeah,
it.
it was amazing, bro. So much fun.
So back to the projects here. So you said you were stacking up ETH. Did you get any book games which allowed you any
I
raffle spots? How
I
did you end
didn't.
up?
So I didn't like the odds for the book games, and I thought they were a little expensive. So I was like, you know, uh, I just didn't like the odds at 20%. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was good odds.
Oh yeah.
So if I had enough liquidity, I would have bought a bunch of them. But like to me, it wasn't worth it. Those odds weren't, those weren't good odds. And if I bought the books, I would have been set. But like, you know, I was kind of late to the party, so I was like, you know what? I think I'll be better off just stacking at least one ETH will guarantee will guarantee me at least getting one VeeFriend. In my mind at the
Hmm.
time, I was like, hoping that I can get at least one with one ETH, and I wound up paying 0.65 to someone in the community for my first VeeFriend,
Excellent. Which was what?
the likable leopard.
I love it. Was that one you had on your radar, or that was just kind of an offer
No,
that
yeah.
made
So he
sense?
he knew I wanted to enter the community, and he knew I was saving up ETH, and he made the offer. He said, "Yo, I have these spots that I won from the raffle. If you want one, I'll sell you a spot." So that's I bought one of his raffle spots from him, and then I wound up winning a raffle spot when Gary announced that he was going to do the Discord raffle at the end. So yeah, so
Amazing.
I wound up doing all right.
Yeah. Excellent. Fantastic. So let's take one step back because I don't want to skate over something that you said. You said 2.5 weeks prior to VeeCon, you didn't even know you're going. So how did you end up going?
We were in Twitter Spaces, just talking, networking, and a friend of mine, Stas Steicher, hit me up, and he was having like he was giving out VeeCon tickets to people in the community, and he wanted to gift me a ticket. So I was, and that's just a testament of how amazing his community is. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
to gift
yeah,
somebody, that you don't even know, personal like that, a chance to it's just it was amazing. And so he wound up just do networking. We would just do Twitter networking, and he hit me up. He's like, I wanna gift you a ticket to VeeCon. I want you to go. And that's how I wound up going.
amazing. And he wasn't able to go, right? I think I saw this on your Twitter, and you sent him a shirt,
Yeah,
correct? I think I saw that tweet.
so we were planning to meet up, and then last minute he wasn't able to go. So I, when I was there, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get him a shirt so he has one, and got him some stickers and stuff. But there's always VCon 2, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be opportunities to meet. But yeah, last minute he wasn't able to go, so it's unfortunate, but still, I know we'll eventually meet up and hang out. And I still got him a VCon shirt. I got him VCon the movie, that was dedicated to him as well. So it's just a testament to
Amazing.
how awesome these people are.
This community is amazing. And now I'm in a situation where I'm lucky enough to be able to talk more one on one with a lot of people in it, and the stories that really should have spotlights on them, the stories like Stas and just stories of giving and generosity, like they don't come out as often as they should. So that's a big reason that I started this thing, to highlight all of the good and the kindness in this community. It just, as Gary would say, it's
Yeah, I love
profound.
this show, bro. I'm I'm so happy you're doing this. Like I'm definitely a fan of you and your show, and like just keep going, bro. Keep doing it.
I appreciate it. It's like, you know, I just believe in the community just as much, if not more so, than the
Oh, bro, I
project.
I was
And
super excited when I found out when you hit me up. I was like, oh, I feel like I made it finally. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, we got a long way to go.
we got
Um,
this.
but so obviously, VCon was an ultimate experience. We could talk on that forever. As far as the situation that we're in now of a bear, we'll call it a bear, a quiet time, right? People are buying, or people are kind of holding or selling, and just kind of, depending on what happens with the greater economy, kind of holding everything a little bit closer than their chest. How does that affect, or how do you, maybe it doesn't affect, how does that, or should it affect people with their education, with learning about scams and things like of that nature?
You know, knowledge is very important, and one of the things that I learned at VCOM was that we're still a small percentage of people that are in this space right now. So unfortunately, we just got to keep putting knowledge out constantly, and just keep learning, keep putting knowledge out, keep learning. He keeps saying we're 0.001% of people represented in the space. That's
Wow, is that it?
crazy. Knowledge is super important, and it's like, we're so early that we the knowledge that we're going to be putting out to these people is going to be very important. The new people that come into this space, we want to onboard new people safely, and that's going to help them immensely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I feel like, part of we all like to say we're early, but part of being early is figuring out all the shit. Like, like the number one thing, like safety and how to protect people, especially when they're investing real numbers here. It's nice to just show up and have everything taken care of, but this is, I feel like totally agree with your sentiments. Like this is a real responsibility and something that we have to do, especially being a part of such a nice community. Like you want to be able to take care of your own, so to speak. I mean, you don't want to see anyone get scammed, but it really hits home when you see, people that you know and care about, and you see it kind of firsthand what it does when someone does get taken for
Yeah,
a
you
ride.
see it every day.
Um,
It's you see it every day on Twitter and in the Discord. You'll see, it's sad. It's we gotta just put the knowledge out there for people.
yeah, and I love this. You on June 28th, 2022, you tweeted out. I'm going to host an emergency State of the Union Twitter Spaces this evening. The whole space will be about keeping your NFT safe, helping set up hardware wallets, and then you go on to list 4 or 5 really important, crucial points. So it sounds like you're on top of it, but I think, as Gary said, hand-to-hand combat, we just gotta keep on pounding the little things into
Yeah,
people. Get a ledger, check out don't click on any links, take a deep breath and wait 10 seconds before you click on something, look around. I remember standing in line into early morning to get into VeeCon the last day, Sunday, and we were just kind of all on Twitter talking, and then we see that Beeple. I don't know if you remember this, but Beeple got
I
hacked.
do.
His Twitter
Yeah.
account got hacked, and we're like, if it could happen to Beeple, it could happen to anyone. So it's just one of those things that we gotta look out for. So as we kind of go on through the project, what has anything stood out as far as something that Gary or the team has done that you have that really caught you off guard, that really said, wow, like this is really awesome, or this, like, I don't know about this. Any move?
You know, the really I'll go with the really awesome, right? Like and I got to keep going back to VeeCon. Like, the what he pulled off at VeeCon was incredible. You know what I mean? Like, um, I I know what community this is. You know what I mean? I've been in the community long enough to know, and and I've seen other communities. Like, we're one of the best out there. We're one of the kindest. The you know what I mean? Like, we I know that he's going to keep innovating, and he's going to be the blueprint for how to run a successful NFT project. I feel like he's light years ahead with tying physical goods with NFTs already, and the conference. Like,
Oh, he's the best at what he does. But let's stay there for a second, because I know you've spoken highly and said you were bullish on a lot of projects. A lot of them are blue chip that we all know. Your Doodles, Apes, Creature, whatever. But what, I know, like, I'm doing this podcast, I know that this is special, but it's always interesting to hear, like, why, like, what makes this VeeFriends community different.
I the people in it make it different. It's the people in the community that make it special. I've been in the other discords in these blue chip, right? These blue chip discords, and, like, you know, I feel like ours is more thoughtful, more serious. The it seems like the other ones aren't as serious, and we're more caring and thoughtful as a collective, I think. Um, but at the end of the day, it is what you make of it, right? And
Right.
I think it's the people that make up the community that make it so special.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I don't think, and I can't speak as a matter of fact because I don't know, but if, fill in the blank, if you're in blank Discord and there's a conference like VeeCon, I don't know if anyone's rolling up on you and saying, here's my ticket, like go
100,
for free.
or if they're gonna say, "Hey, I'm looking to get
Like,
into this project and I'm looking to spend this amount of money. Can someone help me out?" And they're like, "Nah, you got to do your own
bingo,
research." You know what I'm saying?
bingo. Or buy my ticket on OpenSea, like I just put it up. Like here's the link to my listing,
you
right? I don't think people are
you'll
doing
see
that.
Rips and
And
and and Rips will personally, or even you'll get on a conference call and like they'll show you like which VeeFriends you should be looking at, like and show you, you know, all right, you're looking to spend this and get into the project, like this is what you should be looking at. It's very different.
totally, it is very different. And I've been in enough discords to not as many as a lot of people, but enough to realize like this is different. So we're talking a lot about this word. What does the word community mean to you when you hear that?
Man, just being there for somebody, just being there for a friend, um, calling up someone, shooting out a message, checking up on somebody, just overall being a good person, just being there for somebody.
I love that. Um, this is random, but it just popped in. We're talking about giving in the community. So, and I didn't, wasn't there for this story firsthand, but I saw the people that were involved, and then I heard it. A guy that I shared a Uber with from the hotel back to the airport from VeeCon was with them, and he's like, I can't believe what I just saw. So it was at the end of VeeCon, so everyone's kind of leaving, getting your final pictures, selfies, anything else you want to check off your VeeCon like bucket list. And I guess there was a girl who she had a Passionate Parrot and she wanted a Passionate Parrot hoodie. She didn't get one on the drop. And so that was like one of her goals. And there was a guy walking, after VeeCon on the streets, and she went up to him in front of this guy who was right there, and she offered to buy it from him. And what does he do? He literally took off the hoodie off of his back and gave it
Amazing.
to her. Like, $125 hoodie. So, I mean, that's it. That's it.
There's so many
So,
testaments of, you know what I mean, how these people that are in this community.
of, absolutely. And whether you get the tweets or the messages, you're giving a lot, whether it's your time and all of the information, like you're putting a lot out, as we talked about, with all the time that it takes to put out a show, and just be there, like be engaged, like that's a lot. So I don't want you to sell yourself short on that. But let's put that over there. You're giving a lot. If that's the selfless side, if we flip to the selfish side, what is something that you want to get out of this community?
Something I want to get out of the community is I just want to see people be happy. I just want to see people win. I want to see people be able to provide for their families and just overall be happier. I want the people in the community just to overall be happier.
That's amazing. Bingo. Oh, I'm getting the chills here. So, um, if someone is in your space, or someone comes across your radar that they can't afford, right, can't scrape up even 100, $200 for a book game right now, what is something you would say to them?
I would say to keep grinding. I would say in around November, December, I only had a couple $100 worth, and 5 months later, I had almost one ETH saved up. So, if you save up little by little, if you DCA little by little, you don't. I always thought you had to put such big amounts down in investments. You know what I mean? Like I always thought I had to put such big big amounts down when you could just do small increments. It doesn't have to be big amounts. And that really,
Yep. Set it
dude,
and forget it.
100%. And that really makes a difference. Let me tell you, like I was able to stack up like very quickly doing that. And little by little it adds up.
And
But
yeah,
I
and
wouldn't go for
what
a book
I,
game. I tell them to go for a VF2 instead.
yeah, um, right. But I mean, the lowest cost of entry, if you just want
100%.
to taste it, get into the ecosystem, book games is a nice way. And I was even talking to someone else, I think it was Busy, about, how do you get someone to really learn? And a lot of people, like for me, it's hard to, if something investing like this, I'm not really going to be totally engaged and really sink my teeth into it unless I have money
Correct.
involved, right? That just, I can't research at the same level if there's no skin in the game for me. So, if you put in one book game, like you're gonna, spend $200, you're gonna learn
Yeah,
about book games,
100%.
and then like that's how people got a VF2. I get it now.
Yeah, that
So
was the way. Last year, it was to get into those books, man, that was a good opportunity.
but yeah, with that said, right now you could buy, it's cheaper.
True, but like I
It's
said too,
cheaper. It's cheaper than the books, but
I'm at the moment, and I have been looking at book games and I've been looking at everything, but right now it's like I'm so focused on VF2 and VF1, like who knows how long this bear market will last before it does pop off again, and like then I'm gonna have to wait another bear market before I maybe get a VF1, so it's like it's gonna be
yeah,
definitely a marathon.
there's there's a lot of people in this family that are fantastic at strategizing and making the chess moves to go from book games to VF2
Oh
to
yeah.
core
Oh
VF1 to
yeah, so
spec.
many smart people.
And the stories are amazing. My brain doesn't work that way. I'm good at strategizing many things, but the flipping arbitrage is still, for me, many chefs moves away is difficult. But that's why you have this
100%.
community to lean on.
We always strategize with each other. Not that we're gonna give each other financial advice, right? We're not financial analysts, but we're definitely pro opportunity. So we're always,
Mm,
strategizing amongst ourselves. Like if we were at a bar, or like how me and you are, just chilling, hanging out, shooting the shit, and we're like, we would strategize like, yo, listen to this. This is what I have. What do you think about this? So what would you do in this situation? Like, it's always good to get other perspectives on things. At the end of the day, you're gonna do what's right for you and your investment, but it's good to get other perspective.
yep, I couldn't have said it better myself. It, and sometimes you just got to get out of your own head. We overcomplicate
All the
things,
time.
and it's nice to A, talk to other people, but B, just sometimes have someone say, "Wait a minute, this is what you're doing," and then you're like, "Oh yeah, it's as simple as that," or "No, that's not what I'm
Yeah.
saying at all." Um, so I
Yeah.
love
And then
it,
you can get
and the
accountability in there too a little bit. It's like this, bro. It's networking and doing that little strategy networking thing with these people. It'll help you out long run. It will.
mhm. There's a big push and pull now because with the economy and everything, like who knows what's going to happen. Like they're talking about BTC going to 10, like you know shortages of this in the world, shortages of that, like inflation, like so many different variables. And I think Gary strategically has been posting his save money, like make sure you're taken care of. Like I don't know if you follow how closely you follow his Insta and his other socials, but he's purposely doing that now because you don't ever want to over leverage, but I feel like now people would over leverage more because it's like, man, VF1s are 8. I could get VF2s for 0.5. Like I need to stock up now. When in reality, they're not set up if something happens in IRL. So I think it's a challenging time. Not only if you saw your NFT bag, you know, value on paper diminish 50%, but just, you know, making sure you're taking care of your far walls.
As long as you don't over leverage, you're going to be fine. You know what I mean? You should always
Hmm.
be liquid, always have liquidity on deck, and you'll be okay as long as you don't over leverage. You know, that's one thing during the bear you want to have liquidity on deck. Cash is going to be king during times like these, and everything's on sale.
Mm.
You know, so
Yeah.
always always be liquid if you can, you know, and make sure to take profits every once in a while so you have some liquidity on hand, and you know, just strategize is the way to go.
I love it. And I'm thinking about, you know, in 10 years, like playing that clip back, someone watching and say, wait a minute, VF1s are 8 and VF2s are 0.5. Like, but it's, you know, you'd be kicking yourself, I would assume. But what you just said is perennial. Like, you always need to not over leverage yourself, like he says, and just make sure you're set.
Yeah, these cycle
You
we're
know, put
always
your
going to get another opportunity to get that VF1. You know, there will
right.
always be another bear cycle. There's, you know, these cycles are going to come. So it's the the better we realize, prepare, you know, and know that, we'll be better off the next time it comes, and then you'll have plenty moves that you could do. You'll be less you less, because right now the market's very tight. It's hard to make moves right now. So if you don't have the liquidity, you're not doing much.
Mm. So, and you kind of took the words, you kind of took my next question away before I was going to say, what do you have to say to the community? But I think that's probably the best advice that you could offer for this time.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just try to not over leverage. Always stay liquid. You got to have liquidity always. Don't over leverage and you'll be fine. You know, you don't have to make these big purchases and put yourself in a hard situation, you know? Just you can there will always be an opportunity to buy. There'll always be a dip opportunity to buy. So, you know, don't over leverage.
Yeah, simple. Sometimes the simplest rules are one of the most hardest to follow. Um, are you a New York guy?
100%, yeah.
Okay, I got that from the accent, and I thought I saw a Jeter thing on
Yeah.
your feed.
So I lived in New York for my whole life. I'm in Florida now. We moved in 2018, so now I'm in Florida, Orlando. This is where I live. But I was in New York practically my whole life. In
Where?
Queens,
Oh, so you're still a Yankee guy in
100%.
Queens,
Yeah.
not a Mets guy.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I love it.
it's funny because the Mets Stadium, Shea Stadium, was in Queens, but you know,
Yeah,
you had more Yankee fans than Met fans in Queens.
yeah. I'm a Mets guy because I never wanted to just jump on the bandwagon with all my friends growing up who were all Yankees fans. So I mean, just by proximity to them, some of the best moments of baseball I saw live were all at Yankees. Like, I saw Jeter's last hit, like his walk-off hit. I saw them win the Brocious walk-off home run in the 2001 World Series. Like,
So
crazy
where did you
memories.
live? You lived out there in the,
I was in
oh,
Connecticut. I
wow.
live in
So are
Connecticut.
you there now still?
I live in
Charleston.
Charleston. I'm not too far from Orlando.
Okay.
Actually, it's probably like 5 hours ish.
Nice.
We're talking about doing the Disney thing soon,
Nice. Bro, if
so
you
we'll see.
do,
We'll see,
please hit
but
me up. Like I would be more than happy
absolutely.
to bro, to buy you a beer and hang out, like that would be awesome.
Oh, yes. I'm so happy we connected and are chopping it up. You can only meet so many people at VeeCon. But now, after any initial interaction, it's always better. I'm going to make a point to get to late night. Maybe I'll take a nap during the
Yeah.
day and make late
Yeah,
night.
it's VeeCon was so much fun, bro. I really hope people definitely, check out what, maybe see the video and what it was about or hear some stories from people and definitely, hopefully, try to join the community and maybe go to the next VeeCon. It's these these relationships and these experiences have been some of the best times of my life recently, and it's been so much fun, even in the bear market, right? And we had VeeCon and had so much fun and memories and you know, it's a good time.
if if you have a happy, healthy household, it doesn't matter what the weather's doing outside, right? Like we could do VCon every week, and the market wouldn't matter. Um, awesome. So two quick character questions, and I want to head into our last segment. Do you have a favorite
I have
character?
a few. So I'm really digging the motivated monster lately
Okay.
and the adaptable alien. So those are the two that have been on my radar. And now's the perfect time to be looking at any character that like you couldn't get before, but now's the best opportunity to be looking at them. So those are the two that are on my radar right now.
I love it. I'm starting to really dig the motivated monster too. It wasn't really on my radar, but now we got a hoodie. We got the motivated hoodie, so now it's just always there. And I'm like, wow, I kind of like this guy. Um, and then a question that I like to ask is thinking about you as a person and what the characters resemble. What character would you need to spend more time with in real life?
What character would I need to spend more time with? I would say, I would probably go with the likable leopard. I am, I really resonated with that character, and I was even thinking about getting a tattoo of it as well. So
Oh
yeah,
wow,
so it's and I got a signed poster that Gary signed for me at VeeCon. So I'm really attached to that character. That's
a likable leopard
yeah,
poster he signed.
yeah. No,
Sweet,
I that's the character I would hang out with.
awesome. So I just want to head into our last segment, but before that, Pat, I just want to thank you so much for
Oh,
hopping
bro,
on
thank you.
and all that you're doing
This
for the
was amazing.
space.
I'm super excited when you told me about this. So like, I love this, bro.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I really appreciate like it's one thing to do something, but to do it every night. And I know you're saying you're slowing down now, but whatever it ends up being, like to show up consistently for the community and just little nuggets, big pieces of advice, or even just kind of entertainment escapism for people. After a long day, like it's such value. So can't thank you enough for being a great ambassador. And I can't wait to chill and chop it up more in
Bro,
the future.
100%. You got to come to
So
the late night, and bro, you're always more than welcome here. And
I'm gonna make a point of it. I
good.
really am. I can't wait. So for this last segment, micro macro spitfire, it's called. I'm gonna ask you a whole bunch of questions quickly. You can give a macro, quick yes or no, or you can go the micro route and kind of zoom in and give a specific answer why you're answering it. Your choice. All right, here we go. So for anyone that's trying to get into VeeFriends for the first time, who is someone they need to follow?
Well, that's a great question. Definitely Jeremy knows. Definitely Sal DeGuardia. Those are the two people that come to mind when I hear that question.
Awesome. Your favorite teacher growing up and one reason why?
St. Margaret, Sister Margaret was my favorite teacher, and she was my favorite because she was the one that taught me how to draw, or always spent time with me when I was drawing. So we always had a common bond together, and she just was always a big fan of me and always wanted to see me do good. So she was one of the first people that was drawing with me, taught me how to draw.
I love it. Have you thought about creating your own NFTs?
Not yet. I I want to work for a big project. I don't want to do a project yet.
Do you see yourself being in more of a community
I
role
do.
for a
I
project?
do.
Is that what you, I
I
love it.
didn't want to commit to, I don't want to, I didn't want to do anything personal yet. I wanted to just be patient, see what's out there, and then, make my decision from there. But there's plenty of opportunities, and I at this time I would rather work for a big company.
Amazing. All right. The Time Machine Tiny Ogre book game token, when it's all said and done, could be traded for a what?
Oof. I'm gonna say traded for a special type of experience, I'm gonna say. We just don't know what.
Okay. The city that VeeCon 2023 will be in
Miami.
is, if you had to keep only one social media platform, which
Twitter.
would you keep? Would you rather have a bougie hotel experience or a camping and hiking
Camping and
excursion?
hiking excursion, 100%.
All right. Old Yankee Stadium or new
Old.
Yankee Stadium? Paper Hands Pony or the
Ooh.
Koala?
Paper Hands Pony.
Gratitude Gorilla or Patient
Gratitude
Panda?
Gorilla.
Would you rather have a 2-hour group dinner experience with Gary, you and 9 other people, or a 10-minute one-on-one session?
I would have the group dinner.
How do you want people to think of you in this space?
I just want I just want people to know if they have any questions or need someone to talk to, I am here for them.
And the last question, if you could ask Gary one question and he had to answer it, what would it be?
If I had to ask him one question, I would ask Gary. When are we going to see a video game? Yeah.
I love it. Pat, this was awesome. I hope just the first of many chats and jam sessions here, fam sessions, I should
Bro,
say.
100%.
Appreciate your time.
Like I said, I was really looking forward to this, and this was so much fun. So I'll do this whenever.
It was a blast. There will definitely be more.
Good, brother. I'm
All
proud
right.
of you, bro.
Take care, brother.
This is so much fun, and like keep doing your thing, bro. This is dope.
Thank you. Likewise. Keep on going, because you're gonna get 2,000 people in that room soon.
Mad love, brother.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Take care.